I'm Jeya Ragul Geshan, and I belong to Indian Forest Service 2016 batch. And briefly to say about, I am an engineer. I passed out from College of Engineering Indi, Anna University Chennai 2014 batch, and I started my preparation after completing my graduation from engineering in the year 2014 for 1 year, and I've given my first attempt in 2015. And I have appeared for both Indian Forest Service and civil service examinations, and I was able to clear my IFS examination in my first attempt, and I got all in the rank 107. This is a brief about my career and journey of my preparation. To start with my preparation strategy, which I followed during my during 2014-15. Initially, I've joined an academy in Chennai named Times Institute, presently named as RMIS Academy, where I've been part of a batch, a Prelims cum Mains batch. And it started with a 6 months classes and 6 months exams and other things. And briefly talking, the film strategy which it was incorporated was initially the NCERTs from the class 6th to class 12th was covered during my initial part of my training, where extensively the NCERTs were covered, and I have made my own strategy where I have identified one source book for each topics. Like for example, history. For history, I have identified spectrum, and for geography I had my own notes and NCERT notes, and for polity I followed Lakshmikant, and for current affairs I was reading Hindu, one newspaper I followed, and one online institutes news abstracts were routinely followed for 1 year, where I used to read the newspaper, and I used to start with, when you start with a newspaper, you don't able to grasp immediately the history of the topic. So I will generally read it, and for a particular topic I will just search in the net about its brief history, so that in the continuous days I will be in a position to following up the current affairs. Then to start about the economics I had a brief notes given by the institutes, and these are the general books which I followed, and I used to see these toppers when I was preparing. I used to see the toppers interviews in Murnal, where Murnal used to give a brief details syllabus wise. Syllabus wise, I used to give every topics used to be given the source books given by the toppers. So I used to see the last 2 to 3 years toppers and identified the common source books followed by the toppers, and that was my source book for my during my preparations. Then after completing my basic classes and the book reading, then I went for exams like this test series. One thing which I will advise for prelims examination is you should have your own test, repeated test, and practice of doing this multi-choice questions. Like after our school days, in college time, we generally don't get exposed to this multi-choice questions and the way how to handle multi-choice questions, and how within the time frame. So these all things matter. And one good way to approach the multi-choice questions and start with their preparation is going through the previous year banks. Like I followed Aryan publication, if I remember correctly. That book had around 10 years question bank, where I used to identify from a particular topic how the questions are asked. Like when you are reading your NCERTs, you should be able to position yourself that from this particular topic how the question can be asked. So if you prepare in that mode while approaching the paper, it will be very easy. Uh, this is the brief details about my prelims preparation. you should have a regular mocks. And other than mocks, I followed other two prominent institutes test series which I bought and just I've seen referred during my last 3 months of prelims phases. I will address the questions after completing my mains overview. Regarding the mains, the GS1, there are standard books. For history, I have followed spectrums, and for world history and other things, the notes were given. And geography, I had my own notes. And for current affairs, of course, I followed Hindu and other the prominent digital abstracts of the newspapers. For paper two, it was morely like online sources were referred, and prominent like the routine books which has been followed by the toppers have been referred, but I given more importance to the last year questions. I try to see the last year questions, and from there I have identified the uh, try to get what is the answers which can be given. In that way, my mains preparation was mostly related with how the questions were asked and how the questions answers were being given. In this way, I have prepared my mains thing for paper 2 and paper 3, because it is more dynamic topic. So you can't cover. There is no one static book to cover entire GS or GS 2 or 3. That is how my 2 and 3 went. And for 4, there was a book by Ethics Integrity by Mr. Karthikeyan, my institute director, and I followed that only one book for ethics. And for I referred all previous year questions, and I tried to generate my own answers. Then I have refined my answers based upon the feedbacks. That's how I planned for my GS. And my civil service optional was sociology, and I have done my sociology optional in Chennai only. And for forest service, I have tried this forestry optional and geology optional. I chose because forestry optional and geology optional, the resource books were available in Chennai. For forestry, I followed this Manigandan and Prabhu, and for geology, I followed notes from Madras University, which has been provided by my institutes during the preparation time. And I chose this two. My optional preference was I tried to check which optional gives more mark and which optional can be covered in a brief period, because I was preparing for forest service and civil service. So time constraints were there. So this is how I planned my mains thing. And regarding interviews, like while filling the tabs, I asked to my seniors and my institute directors. They gave me feedbacks, and I make sure that whatever I enter in the tab, I'm confident about the information which I am giving. And my interview went good. And in forest service, I got in my first attempt. And regarding civil service, I've done two interviews, and I've tried for some time. Then I've settled in then forest service. And presently, I'm holding director information technology, and this is the brief history about my preparation journey and my bureaucratic journey. It's almost 9 years into the service, and I think now I can address the questions given by the aspirants. Mm. Like how to stay motivated. The first question is like it's about your thing. If you choose a particular career path consciously, that end result motivates you throughout your preparation. It's a hard process. It requires 1 year of preparation and 1 year of exam, or sometimes 1 to 2 years is required for the entire process to get completed. So it depends upon your determination, how you are approaching this career. If you're choosing it with determination, then I think that will motivate you to get succeeded. Why UPSC is because we from your childhood you will be inspired by your neighbors. In that way, my college is one of the important reason. My college, I was a part of a club in my college where the successful candidates of civil service civil service exams people used to get facilitated. There I got to know what is civil service, how uh, this career gives opportunities, and how we can approach it. In that way, my journey into UPSC is predominantly because of the my experience in my college time. For current affairs, generally, present when I was preparing in 2015, by that time there was very strong upcoming of this digital. Uh, notes and the abstracts of newspapers. I don't think you should have your own writing notes. You should make sure that some important articles are there. You can save it and keep and highlight and keep. As such, there are many compendiums and other things for current affairs that will suffice. My only thing is that you should read a proper one newspaper, whatever may be the newspaper. You should take it and you should read it throughout your preparation, because newspaper is not only about gaining knowledge, it's about articulating your thinking. Like if you're continuously reading the option this editorial pages of Hindu, where I read Hindu, or for whatever newspaper, you will feel the difference in your language and your way of thinking, and especially during your mains mock test, that there is a difference in reading the newspapers. And regarding preparation of notes, I think this the compendiums or the abstract things should suffice. How to state with the mental stress for to after problems. Um, See, you have to. You can. It really upsets once you are not clearing the examinations. But that is how this process is about. Just you have to. It's not about getting failed. It's about learning from the mistakes. You have to identify from which part is you need improvement, where you should get yourself corrected. Okay, UPSC is not. It's not impossible, it is possible, but you should be having a right strategy and right resources to approach it. If you have that thing in your mind, then I think clearing should not be issue. Learn from your mistakes and correct it. If you want, if you are making silly mistakes in multi choices, practice it. My only suggestion for prelims is you have to practice as much mock test as possible. I have during my time, that time I think I remember I practiced around 90 to 100 uh, mock tests I have done for the last 6 months period during my preparation. So, and don't take till the end, because syllabus is in such a way that everything under the sun comes under the topic. But there is a pattern in the way the questions are being. You have to identify it and you have to address it properly. And regarding the strategies, people used to say that A strategies, A strategies. See, strategy is unique. The components which are making the strategy is individual specific. See, there are so much fields available since I've been in the bureaucracy for some time. Uh, it's not the end of the life. Okay, UPSC is one of the career option, and there are many career options available. But the knowledge which you gain during this preparation, that will definitely help you to explore different horizons of opportunity available in the career life. And my suggestion is like choose your optional properly, and make sure that if you are planning for a 1 year time, you ensure that your optionals are properly selected. Mark fetching and syllabus covering options should be chosen. And as such, this entire process is around 6 to 12 months. So you should ensure that your preparation is not only restricted to books and other thing. You should have uh, some kind of physical activity or some thing which motivates you. Like I used to have play during my free times, and I will ensure that if I make a schedule, I will complete my schedule so that uh, I don't feel guilt of not covering it. That actually creates some demotivation. So don't have extraordinary or hard to achieve task. Make small tasks every day, and you ensure that the small tasks are achieved routinely. Then that is where you gain your confidence, and that is where the motivation part plays. And you have to identify and analyze the papers. So okay, uh, among all the papers, you have to identify which paper is regularly getting good marks, like ethics and there's GS1. Ethics paper gives a very cutting edge, and essay gets a very cutting edge, and your optional paper gives a cutting edge. So these papers you should ensure that you are not lagging behind. That should be a main part of your strategy. And there is one question: what things we should refer to environment and geography? Environment, I have referred Shankara Academy's environment book, and for geography, I referred to NCERTs, and that was more than sufficient for me to cover my prelims and mains. And I had my own notes from the institute. That is more than sufficient. That was more than sufficient for me to cover both my mains and any other specific questions. Anything which I have not covered, so that I can give my opinion. Just seeing these topics. And one thing is that instead of going for multiple books, whatever books I have already told, identify a standard book, a standard source material, and try to read it repeatedly. It's more about uh, reading, revising, and re-revising and executing. Remaining things are like if you keep on going for new books, there is no end. That is how the syllabus is about. Try to identify a standard book, then try to revise it. Whatever that will be the common point for prelims, mains, or interview part. Even interview time, when you're going for a thorough examination of your TAF and preparing notes and other thing, it should be like you should maintain a precise, short, brief notes for every topic, so that the revision part is not getting difficult. And this strategy I've seen from all candidates who have cleared. The only thing they told is identifying books and revising it repeatedly. And that way, that the Murnar's interviews by toppers was helped me in preparing my own strategy. I think people, you can also try and see it whether it workouts for you or not. For 2020-25, it's not about completing the syllabus. Since 2025, the exams may be in May or June. You can start it now. You start with your basics, and you start with your optional after 1 or 2 months. Then, when optional gets nearly completed, you can your mains also, you will be exposed to your mains. And by the end of January, February, you should complete your mains and optional. And the last 3 months, 3 to 4 months, should be exclusively for prelims. And that way, you can give your prelims, and by the time you complete your prelims, your optional you might have already completed, and your mains you would have exposed, so that you can start giving tests, because mains time will be like 3 to 4 months. So it will be like so there will be some part for creation, there will be some, and the remaining should be for giving exams, test series, writing answers, and evaluating yourself. If you plan your preparation in that way before the examinations, your during the examination or after the examination of films, it will be easy for you to cope up with the time. For essays, you start the previous year topics, and write. First, you write your first essay, irrespective of its quality, standard, and other thing. If you start writing it, then you will identify where is your uh, drawbacks, and from there you will correct your essays. Like, there are some videos of how to write essays, and that will give you some idea. But first, you start a essay, something you write it. You think how you will get content. That's where newspaper comes into play. Read newspaper for 1 or 2 months, and by the time you will get your own ideas, and you start writing your essays and evaluate it by yourself. And by the time, I can assure you that 7 to 8 essay, your quality of essay would have been definitely improved. Did you find the monthly current affairs? Yes. Actually, sometimes the monthly, some questions, it was not available in current affairs magazine, and some PT 365 was available, which was not in PT 65. This magazine was available. I don't see this thing as substitute to one another. You can take either one, and you read a physical newspaper continuously. That is more than enough, because the contents are mostly repetitive only, and whatever it is not covered in the compilation, it will be surely covered in your newspaper reading. Either way, the both them will suffice each other. My size hardly going 600 pages and could not able to connect paragraphs. Actually, I find one good blog. There was a 2017 topper, Mr. Uh, Anudip. He has written one article about how to structure the essay in his blog. You can read that thing. I find that was useful. Cannot be able to expand horizontally. You just read that article, Mr. Shadul. Read that article, and then you implement it. If then there is an issue, then we'll try to address it. How many answers good for a daily? It depends upon you. Like you can take 3 to 4 questions in different GS. You can take it and address on daily basis. And there was one institute, online institute, where they put 7 questions daily during my preparation time 2015, 14, 15. And morning they'll put questions and they put the source area, and I just used to go there, see the concerned article, then I will write the answer for the questions. And the evening, there will be the first best commented answer will be highlighted. Then I will come with that comment, and I will identify which one is, but how far my answer is standardized. I used to self-evaluate it. Then every topper says we should topic wise notes from main service, but sir, what things we ready for GS2 and 3 from question? GS2 and 3, mostly GS2 we can divide it into two parts. One is polity and governance, another thing is IR. And for IR part, it is dynamic, it is current affairs based. So you should follow current affairs and have your own the particular topics, the current affair related news should be uh, uh, you should be maintaining it differently. I developed one last mains time I have prepared. Like I bought one notebook where I have mentioned each in one page. I will write one line of the syllabus. In that particular line, whatever current affairs comes now, I will write that issue's name only. In daily paper, I will write the issue's name. So for that, the relevant contents I used to in the paper or in the magazine, it will be available. So that is the topic. That was helpful for me. You can try that part. And regarding optional 3 is very diverse. Optional 3 has economics, internal security, environment. So internal security, environment, in internal security, there was a material given by the institute, and environment I followed Shanghai is. And for economics part, it was mostly like I saw on this economic survey I used to refer, and some topics like agriculture and other thing. It was like mostly I was referring to the department websites like agriculture. Those department websites I was referring, and I was searching for the particular content for the syllabus. थोड़ा one page, 2 page बना के रखा है, like this buffer stocks, MSP, that and all, like two and three. And polity and governance part is mostly current affairs basis. So I request to again follow the newspapers. And there was one website, PRS. Okay, there was one website regarding legislation and other thing that you can refer for the governance part. Should you answer based notes or syllabus topic wise based notes? You can have syllabus wise, because once you are going for the examinations, you can, once you are seeing the question, you can relate it to the from syllabus, you can extract the content. You might have prepared a syllabus based notes. From that, you can. It was easy for me to correlate. I advise you to read one newspaper. It's not only about knowledge; it's also about uh, other things like developing your personality and developing your articulation. That was. I referred you certain selective yojanas where it was very peculiar and content specific or current affairs specific. That particular yojana I referred, but generally there were some compendium for yojanas, like they have given the gist of the yojanas that I followed. Toppers on the copies, they are writing answers in any understanding. No, it is not a big thing. I have seen some toppers handwriting was not cursive or not that much eligible also, but they got error in single digits. So I don't think so handwriting matters. It's all about content and how you are structuring the answers. That's what. case studies. It was newspaper only. Case studies I have seen. Case studies related to ethics. If it is related to ethics, there was one book by my institute director, Mr. Karthikeyan. I refer that case studies. And I also seen lexicon book also I've seen. Statistic data from newspapers and any magazines. And you should note it down. Actually, it depends upon you to get how you are going to identify the information and how you are going to present it in the answer. That's why you refer the notes like standard answers, how they are starting. Sometimes I used to start with some fact. If it is a factual related question, I also start with a fact. As per this survey, this much percentage of I say if you start, it gives a unique uh, appearance. So you will be differentiated from other papers.